Welcome back. Here's where you stand. You've hooked investors with your elevator pitch, shown them the painful problem, delivered a clear solution. Now comes the money question. How big is this opportunity? That's what slide 4 answers. And if you're just joining us, this is part of a 7-episode Investor Pitch Deck Masterclass Mini-Series here on the Marketing Podcast. We're building an 11-slide pitch deck that helps you raise money from investors. Start with episode 1 in the mini-series if you haven't already. Everything builds on everything else. Why slide 4, your market slide, matters to investors. Investors need to see 2 things. The market is big enough to make them money, and you're realistic about what you can capture. Too small a market, and they won't invest. Too ambitious, and they won't believe you. This slide proves both. The 4 market circles. Your slide should look like circles within circles. You'll divide your market into 4 parts. The total market, the total available market, the serviceable addressable market, and the serviceable obtainable market. I'm going to use a fishing lure company to show you how this works. I picked this example because the market data is easy to find and the math is clean. Your market could look different, but the process is identical. Meet Fishing Lures X, a company that makes high-end saltwater fishing lures. Circle 1, total market. It's the biggest circle. Start with everything in your market. For Fishing Lures X, the total fishing market is worth $51.1 billion. That's travel, equipment, boats, trailers, lures, rods, reels, everything. But they can't address all of that. They only sell fishing lures. So their total addressable market, the second circle, sometimes referred to as TAM, is $1.1 billion. That's how much is spent specifically on fishing lures annually. How did I find this? I Googled size of the recreational fishing market in the United States PDF. That led me to an industry report published by the American Sport Fishing Association. The report had market size right there and a line item for fishing lures specifically. You'll do the same thing for your market. Your total market is your largest circle. Your TAM, or total addressable market, is your second circle inside of that, the smaller one. Circle 3, serviceable addressable market, sometimes referred to as SAM. Now, get more specific. What part of your TAM, total addressable market, can you actually serve with your specific product? Fishing Lures X doesn't sell every fishing lure. They sell saltwater lures only. After researching the ratio of freshwater to saltwater anglers, 5-to-1, I applied that to the TAM. That gives them a SAM of $222 million. Yes, I'm making assumptions that anglers spend similarly, that lure prices are comparable, but the logic is sound. Note your assumptions so that you can defend them to investors when you build your market. Circle 4, share the market, or SOM, S-O-M. Finally, what's your realistic share based on how you actually sell? Fishing Lures X sells online direct to consumer. Industry reports show 80% of tackle sales happen online, but big box retailers control 75% of that. Independent retailers like Fishing Lures X are left with about $44 million in addressable market. They estimate capturing 3% of that by year 2. That's a SOM of $1.3 million. That's your smallest circle, your actual target. The reality check. Now, 1.3 million sounds small compared to 51 billion. But here's what investors want to know. If their average lure sells for $10, they need to sell 133,000 lures to hit 1.3 million. That's 11,000 lures per month, 367 per day. Suddenly, it's not a miracle. It's a sales and distribution problem, and that's exactly what your go-to-market slide will solve. Do the math for your business. How many units do you need to sell? If you're selling a service, how many hours do you need to bill? Ground your projections in reality. Here's some places to find your market data. 3 solid resources. Number 1, Google search Your Market Industry Report PDF. You'll find free reports in exchange for your email. Also, look at public company 10Ks. Find a publicly traded company in your space, go to their investor section, and download their annual report, or look them up on sec.gov. These reports break down market size for investors. Number 2, U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, BEA.gov, has free government market data on almost everything. Number 3, AI engines. Tell Gemini in deep research mode, or ChatGPT, Claude, or any of the other AI engines what you are doing and what you need to complete for a thorough market breakdown. One word of warning: double check the numbers, because sometimes these AI engines make things up. Now, get specific about your customer. Once you've sized the market, get specific about who you're selling to. For Fishing Lures X, saltwater anglers isn't enough. Better? Blue marlin anglers who buy online located on the East Coast. That specifically will drive your go-to-market strategy in your next slide. Write down one clear customer persona, and then we'll use it. Here's what to do now. Think about your 4 circles: your total market, your total addressable market, your serviceable addressable market, and your serviceable obtainable market. Use the resources I gave you and make logical assumptions, and make sure to write them down on the worksheets once you download them so that you remember when you go back. And the other thing, define one specific customer persona. But remember, don't build your slides yet. Listen through the entire masterclass first. Your market slide connects directly to your go-to-market, which we're covering next. You need the full picture, or you're just going to have to come back and redo all the work anyway. Here's where you're going. You've shown investors the market is big enough. Now you need to prove you can actually capture your share. That's your go-to-market slide. Slide 5. Let's go. Slide 5, your go-to-market strategy. Slide 5 is your go-to-market strategy. It's the second punch in the 1-2 combination you set up with your market slide. You just showed investors the market is big enough. Now you need to prove you can actually capture your share. Why this slide matters. Investors have seen 1,000 great ideas die because founders have no clue how to actually sell. This slide proves you actually know how to do it. The best part about this slide, you don't have to write any of this out. You can actually draw it. Your slide could have an email icon, a podcast mic, a salesperson, all pointing towards a website where you're driving traffic and making sales. Icons and arrows, visual flow, that's it. Here are 3 phases to think about: attract, engage, delight. Think of your go-to-market plan, sometimes referred to as GTM, as 3 phases. Number 1, attract. How do you get potential customers' attention? Social media, blog posts, webinars, podcast appearances, ads, guerrilla marketing. The key, get their contact information so you can turn them into customers. Number 2, engage. How does your sales process work? Self-service online, email sequences, phone calls? Will someone else sell for you? Wholesaler, retailer, dropshipper? Number 3, delight. How do you deliver so great that customers become promoters? How will you handle customer service? Will you have an online forum, phone support, website chat? For each phase, investors want to see 2 things: your plan and what it costs in time and money. You don't need perfect answers yet, but start thinking about them. Start small, go hyper-local. Here's what investors want to see. You're not trying to boil the ocean. You can't launch to your entire market at once unless you have millions in funding. And even then, it's a bad idea. Start hyper-local. Own your hometown or part of a city. Try marketing and sales ideas. Learn from mistakes, adjust, then expand with proven tactics and real data. That's how you de-risk the investment for them. Tackle a small piece of your market, own it, use that success to grab bigger pieces. If you have quick success, you can always speed up. Even if you're selling online, a regional strategy works better. Spend targeted dollars in one market. The more people hear about you in one place, the more likely they are to buy. In marketing, it's called the mere exposure effect. Even Amazon uses hyperlocal strategies. If it works for them, it'll work for you. Example, Fishing Lures X GTM, go-to-market strategy. Let me show you what it looks like using our fishing lure company. Their slide would show podcasts to tackle stores to email campaign, all pointing to a website where they sell lures. Here's their plan. Wholesale. Land 3 independent tackle shops within an hour of headquarters. Offer net 60-day terms or a commission to get in the door, and this drives awareness and early sales. They're going to do a weekly podcast, local fishing reports, events, tips. And in the podcast, they're going to give free publicity to the retail shops that sell their lures. That's going to drive listeners to an email list, from the emails to their online store. And then owners are actually going to fish weekly. They're going to use the lures, catch fish, post pictures on social media, and drive traffic to the podcast and website. As they grow, they'll lean into paid ads and fishing tournament sponsorships as they have metrics that they can lean on to make sure that they have a really good return on marketing. Notice what they're not doing. They're not spending $100K on national ads. They're spending smart, learning fast, and building proof. That's what investors fund. Here's how to build your go-to-market slide. Draw it out. Use icons and arrows like we talked about. Show the flow from attract to engage to delight. And answer these questions. How will you attract, engage, and delight? How much will each phase cost in time and money? Where will you start small and own first? Remember, this slide is visual. Don't write paragraphs. Show the flow. Here's what to do. When you sit down, sketch out your GTM flow on a piece of paper, just with rough ideas. Your go-to-market strategy connects directly to your next slide, which is where you show investors proof you're already executing this plan. Okay, here's where we stand. You've hooked investors with your elevator pitch. You've shown them a painful problem. You delivered a clear solution. You proved the market is big enough, and you've shown them exactly how you're going to capture your share. Now you need to prove you're already doing it. That's your traction and milestone slide. Proof you're just not theory. Let's go. Slide number 6, traction and milestones. Slide 6 is your traction and milestone slide. This is where you show investors 2 critical things: what you've already accomplished and what you're going to accomplish in the next 12 to 18 months. Here's why this slide matters. Investors see hundreds of pitches. Most are just ideas. Traction is proof you can execute. It separates fundable companies from dreamers. This slide sets the tempo and narrows your focus for the year to 18 months ahead. Remember what an investor is thinking when they see this slide. Will the milestones be significant enough to get a step up in valuation to raise that next round of funding that you're going to need? What is traction? Traction is anything you've done to move your business forward. Ideally sales, but not always. Traction could be pre-orders, testimonials, a prototype, actual sales, distribution deals ready to go, an email list with thousands of subscribers, website traffic from SEO, or proof your customer acquisition cost is working. Whatever proves you're making progress, that's traction. If you're just starting and don't have traditional traction yet, pick 3 critical things to accomplish and assign deadlines, and be specific. Some examples. I'll talk with 100 potential customers in the next 14 days. Hopefully you've already done that. I'll have 100 customers by May 30th. I'll have $50K in revenue by November 15th. Those become your initial traction points. What are milestones? Milestones are goals you're aiming to hit in the next 12 to 18 months. Sales targets, key hires, fundraising goals, anything that moves the business forward. The key to milestones, be specific. This is not specific. I want to increase sales. This is specific. I want to increase sales from 1.2 million to 1.75 million in the next 12 months, and here's the plan. Don't say become profitable or scale the business. These aren't milestones, they're wishes. Say 1 million in revenue by Q4 or hire a VP of sales by March. Specific, measurable, dated. Here's why specificity matters. Let's use Fishing Lures X. They set a milestone to go from 1.2 million to 1.75 million in sales. To hit 1.75 million in sales, They need 16,750 new customers at a $10 customer acquisition cost each. That's $167,500 in marketing spend. Now they know exactly what it'll take. Can they fund it from cash flow? Do they need to raise money? The specific milestone gave them a roadmap. That's why specificity matters. Vague goals get vague results. Specific goals get funded. Don't fake this. Here's the deal. Investors can smell BS a mile away. Real numbers beat fancy graphics every time. Don't pad your traction. Don't inflate your milestones. Show what's real. If you're early, own it and show what you're going to accomplish. If you have momentum, prove it with numbers. Example, Fishing Lures X traction and milestone slide. Here's what their slide looks like. Traction, $375K in sales. Customer acquisition cost is $10. 500-person email list growing 15% monthly. Milestones the next 12 months. $1 million in sales, launch new lure line by Q2, add 3 wholesale partners. Simple, clear, specific. Here's what to do now. Think about it. What have you already accomplished? Look at the examples I gave you earlier. Which ones apply to you? When you sit down to build this slide, write down your milestones for the next 12 to 18 months. Be specific, assign dates. Then, and this is critical, estimate how much money it will cost to hit each milestone. For each one, write down the dollar amount. That number goes into your financial slide and becomes part of your fundraising ask in slide 10. Your slide can be simple chart showing where you are and where you're going, or bullet points. Keep it clean and honest. Your traction slide connects to your financial slide and your funding slide. You'll see how that works soon. Okay, here's where we stand. You're halfway to the finish line. You've hooked investors with your elevator pitch, shown them the painful problem, delivered a clear solution, proved the market is big enough, shown them how you'll capture your share, and now proven you have momentum. Next up, your competition slide. You need to show investors you know who you're up against and exactly how you're different. Let's go. Slide 7, your competition. Why competition matters. Identifying your competition helps you strategize how to position your product in the market. You don't want to obsess over your competition, but you need to understand where you stand and how you're different. Here's the trap. If you say, we have no competition, investors hear one of two things. I haven't done my homework, or there's no market. In some rare cases, maybe the market doesn't even exist. That's a blessing and a curse. ChatGPT didn't have competition in the market when they launched. Then, all of a sudden, it did. Their slide would have had Google, Meta, Apple, Tesla, and a few others, even though those others might not have been in the market yet. Even if you're creating a new category, someone is solving this problem differently today. That's your competition. Know who they are. Here's the 4 things you need to know about your competition. First, who they are. List the company's products and services that compete with you. Think about both direct and indirect competition. Direct competition is other companies offering similar solutions. Indirect competition is other ways people solve the problem you're solving. Take Trello, the app that helps you find files faster. Direct competition, search engines built into the software. Indirect competition, people organize files manually, or executive assistants who keep things organized. That insight helped them save thousands in marketing dollars by not chasing people who'd never buy. Know your competition. Know who not to sell to. Second, where do they play? Find out where they operate. Do they rely on online sales? Are they in the enterprise market or small business market? Physical stores only? Knowing where they are helps you find white space, places they're not competing. Third, how are you different? This is critical. How are you fundamentally different from your competition? Are you faster, cheaper, better customer service, easier to use? Do you have intellectual property or exclusive distribution deals? Here's the key. Pick one thing you do dramatically better. Slightly cheaper or a bit faster won't cut it. Investors and even customers need to see a 10x difference, not a 10% difference. Your differentiation needs to be real, defensible, and matter to customers. If being cheaper is your only advantage and you can't sustain it, you don't have a real advantage. Fourth, what can you steal from them? What mistakes are they making you can capitalize on? What are they doing well that you can copy? Maybe your competition has terrible customer reviews about shipping times. That's your opening. Guarantee 2-day shipping and hammer it in your marketing. Study them, learn from them, then beat them. Like Colonel Beckwith said, if it's a fair fight, you didn't prepare properly. Here's where to research your competitors. Number 1, Amazon and Instagram. Almost every product is on Amazon. Every brand has an Instagram. Use hashtags, find brands, click links, visit websites, dig deeper. Second, Google and trade magazines. Search top companies in fill in the blank your industry. Try different combinations. Industry magazines run annual articles listing market leaders. Leverage AI research to help you. That's your competition list. And third, Google Maps. Great for brick and mortar. Search by category, tons of local businesses info right there. Hot tip, if you find a paid industry report, Google the report name plus add PDF at the end. Sometimes you'll find it posted online. Investors want to see you're realistic about your competition, but confident you can win. Show you've done your homework, but don't spend 10 slides obsessing over competitors. 1 slide, clear and honest. Show who your competitors are, where they operate, and how you're different. Use a simple chart, a matrix, or bullet points. Whatever makes it clear. Going back to the 4 questions you want to answer. Who is your competition, direct and indirect? Number 2, where do they play? Number 3, how are you different? 10x, not 10%. And number 4, what can you take from them? Use the resources I gave you to do the research. Okay, here's where you stand. You've completed your edge. You've shown investors the market is big enough, how you'll capture your share, and that you have momentum, and how you'll beat the competition. In the next episode, we're building your engine, your financial and team slides. This is where you'll prove you can execute and make investors money. I'll see you in episode 4 of this Masterclass Investor Deck Mini-Series.